we're here at LambX and are delighted to have found Olivia from New Zealand and Hannah from Canada. They've come all this way to learn about Australian lamb. So how did you end up here?
Well, Hannah and I came along today as part of the Next Generation Global Sheep Producers. We've had a week-long trip here visiting farms throughout the South Australia region for 3 days, and then we've been here at LambX for the next 3 days. So there's 5 countries that are partners in the Global Sheep Forum, and that's Canada, New Zealand, Australia, the UK and the USA. So there's 13 of us here on this trip.
Fantastic. And can you just tell me a little bit about yourselves and then your involvement with sheep back home?
Perfect. So we run about 300 head of polypace sheep. They're an American composite breed. We run them on an accelerated lambing system. So we lamb out, it works out to 5 lambings every 3 years. We run 3 groups. So we're lambing about every 80 days. We have them all based in the barn. All the ewes stay in the barn year round, and we move the lambs out when they're about 40 pounds out to our feedlot there, and yeah, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, fantastic.
And I work for a sheep stud, Kelso Genetics, in Hawke's Bay, so in the North Island of New Zealand. It's primarily a composite breed. We have about 3,500 stud recorded ewes, selling about 12 to 1,500 two-tooth rams to commercial farmers every year.
Yep, fantastic. And we've just been chatting before about how different the climate and the weather and the farming operations are between our countries. You've done a lot of farm tours while you've been here too, so maybe each of you pick out something different that you've noticed when you're here compared to back home?
For us, we're all 100% grass fed. Sheep in New Zealand. There's no feedlots, which is what we went to Thornby feedlot earlier in the week, which was a real eye-opener. That's probably the beauty about this trip, is that although sheep are farmed differently across the world, there are still things that you can learn from each other and collaborate.
I think the scale of industry here is just incredible. Not only just the amount of sheep and the sheer size of pastures they're raised in, but also the wool industry. Back home in Canada, we don't really have a great wool industry like you guys have. We could never merit keeping a wither as any type of like pastoral tool or anything like that. So it's been really, really neat to see how progressive the wool industry is, and just that it's booming here, and that wool is worth some money. So that's really cool.
So what do you do with wool? How from your use?
So in Canada, we recently started pelletizing it. So it's used as a fertilizer type product, and our wool isn't the quality that your guys' wool is. So unfortunately, we have limited options of what to do with it, but that's a lot better than just throwing it in the back. So it's a wonderful utilization of wool, and we can pay for the gas to get it to town now. So it's very exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you looking at things like the bioharvesting of wool, which is something that was on show here?
Yeah.
That the kind of technology you're looking at over there as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge movement in our industry. So it's sure an exciting thing that we're all excited about back home. So.
And you also mentioned obviously your barn raising sheep, which to an Australian is crazy interesting. Mm-hmm. And also irrigation. You have a massive irrigation property over there, 6,000 acres of irrigation. So very, very different systems to over here, and the challenges would be very different. So
yeah.
Fantastic. And then Olivia, New Zealand, again, very different to Australia. Any other observations from you?
Yeah, I guess although we are quite different in terms of our farming systems, you guys, we are from a drought-prone area as well, but you guys seem to be very resilient in terms of the dry conditions, so that's definitely something as Kiwis we could learn.
Yep.
And also in the wool industry, New Zealand farmers are actually facing a really tough time at the moment. Profitability of sheep is at a very low point. Even people are sort of saying, why are we even farming them? For us, the wool industry, we haven't necessarily implemented technology like bioharvesting yet, but there is a lot of good things happening in our industry of trying to improve the price for strong wool farmers.
We've had a lot of political upheaval and issues over there in regards to farming. How is that going at the moment? Things have changed significantly in the last sort of 6 months or so, is that correct?
Yes, yeah. We've had a change of government, which has sort of taken the heat off farmers a little bit. We've had a lot of policies that were sort of brought up, and now they've kind of been pushed to the side just at the moment. But I think it would be great if we could sort of collaborate between parties and create a platform or policies that targets that farmers can actually hit, and then it stays in place so that we're not having the fluctuations between when parties change, when who's in as our Prime Minister.
Yep.
So yeah, I think a little bit of efficiencies there would probably take the stress out of the farmers' lives if it's just sort of on a straightforward plane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Obviously, lots for all of us to learn from each other, all the different countries. So great to see you here. And yeah, hopefully you'll be back for the next Lambats.
Thank you very much for having us.
You.
Thank you.